Hello everyone, Vampire218 here, super hyped to be bringing you a news video for HouseInfinity. Today we'll be looking at the most recent Smogon tier changes, and today I am joined by...
Levonat, aka Warfor120 in the house. We are bringing you this news because it just broke today, and we're super happy to be one of the first news sources to take over this topic. We're also joined by one of my homies as well. Say hello, homie.
Hello, BandedCaterpie here. But why did I get to go last?
Well,
I'm a BandedCaterpie. I can take you.
You're right. You're right.
I can take you.
Well, but Anger Point Taurus takes the hit and goes to work because it was a critical against me.
Fair enough.
All right, so let's get to work.
So, jumping right into things here, we're not going to be looking over all of them. We're going to be pointing out the ones that are going to probably affect Smogon play, but also League play. And that being said, I want to start off with Shaymin getting moved down from UU to RU. And I think that this is going to have some pretty huge impacts for both Smogon ladder play as well as League play. So could one of you please run me through the thoughts on this?
Look, in my opinion, man, and you know, you're probably gonna have a similar opinion on this, Caterpie. I feel like Shaymin is gonna get bumped right back up very quickly. This is a mon that does not belong in there. I mean, it's got the the 600 base stat total, 100, 100, 100, 100, 100, and not only that, but it's a great staller, with the leech seed subset. It's an amazing mon with the seed flare. And when you really look at it, there's only so many mons in that tier, in the RU tier, that are going to be able to take those seed flares, like Camerupt maybe, but really, what do you think, Caterpie?
Yeah, you're gonna see Shaymin on pretty much all RU teams, in my opinion. It can just hit so many mons in the tier. Just going off the list, looking at the first couple. Could do decent amount to a Mola Mola, of course, just having that seed flare, which you see a lot of on the teams. Could even do a decent amount to your special walls like Coffagrigus, can do a good amount on Diancie. Even Dugtrio, that'd be the one mon you'd want to be Arena Trap. So you're just going to see Shaymin all over the place. You'll see your AV Shaymins to deal with Electroses. You'll see defensive Shaymins in preparation for Braviaries or any of the fighting types. So Shaymin is definitely going to become the MVP of the tier. The only mon with that base 600 stat total. So it's going to be all over the place.
When it comes down to it, I'll bet you that over the next period, until it gets bumped back up to at least borderline 2, where it at least belongs, you're going to see Shaymin on about 85, 40, percentage teams. I mean, I'm not being serious, but it's going to be used ridiculously a lot.
I absolutely agree with both of you guys, Right. So, the next one that I think is really of interest is that Slurpuff move.
Oh yeah,
yes.
So
we've been seeing this one go hard. Vampire, tell us a little bit about some Slurpuff action.
So Slurpuff's getting moved down from UU to RU, and I think this is really interesting because again, fairy types are very far and in between. There are very few of them, and the majority of them are actually in those lower tiers. If I can remember correctly, I believe Aromatisse and
yes,
a few of the other Diancie, big bulky, fairy types are in the RU or lower tier. So now with Slurpuff getting moved down there, it's really gonna affect both League play, but also the I think it's gonna balance out the RU tier a bit because you're gonna have access now to that Slurpuff, whereas before you only really had a few other fairy types. So what are your guys' thoughts on this?
Well, the RU tier actually is pretty loaded with fairies when you think about it. I mean, it already had Aromatisse, it had Diancie, had Granbull, had Togetic, and it also had one more in there. And now, well, actually, no, it's gaining its 5th one in there. So now we're getting a little bit heavy in the fairies in that tier. So for draft leagues, RU is going to be about the fairies. But at the same time, Slurpuff, I'm not sure if Slurpuff belongs in the RU. It's an amazing mon when you rock either a weakness policy set or you're rocking a focus sash set, because of its ability unburden. When you get that unburden boost, bam! It's like all of a sudden it turns into Superman. We've seen this play out many times so far in our monotype leagues that me and Vampire and Caterpie all play in. It's dirty. I don't know if this is going to be the right move. I really don't. What do you think, Caterpie?
Not to mention, there's not a single mon I don't believe in the RU tier I'm going down the list that learns Bullet Punch, which is the main counter. I mean, I believe Hitmonlee may learn Bullet Punch, but that's usually your main counter to Slurpuff since it resists the Sucker Punch. So once it gets the Unburden boost, whether it be by the Belly Drum or Focus Sash, it's just going to destroy the tier because it does get Drain Punch. So it will be able to handle the steel types, it can hit the walls pretty hard.
There is one mon that I'm seeing in there that does get Bullet Punch, and that is Medicham in there. So Medicham might end up becoming a lot more used in that tier, because you are going to have 5 fairies in the RU tier. So Medicham could become a lot more retrospectively used in the tier. I know it's not the best counter because it is weak to the fairies, but at the same time, Bullet Punch is what you're exactly right. It's the most natural counter to the fairies out there.
Absolutely.
I think we're gonna see a lot of Shaymin Swirpuff cores on teams.
Oh my gosh.
Shaymin just wearing everything down with the Leech Seed, just bringing in the Swirpuff to get them boot and boost with any item, and just cleaning up everyone with probably Return, Drain Punch, Play Rough, and your 4th move.
So, I feel like these moves this season, sorry for this tier changes, have definitely taken a bit of the guessing game out of the RU tier.
And the last mon I think we're going to go over here is just Tangrowth, getting moved up from RU all the way to OU. And what I want to point out, I think this occurred because of the Quagsire spike. People were bringing Quagsire to answer things like Zard X and a few other things. And I think that one of the best answers for that kind of mon, the Underwear Quagsire, was Tangrowth. So I want to know what your guys' thoughts on this Tangrowth move is.
Caterpie, you want to go first?
With Tangrowth, it's gonna be hard. I mean, there's a few counters we were talking about before. There's both Zards, there's Heatran, but even Heatran and Zard are limited depending which Zard, because people forget that Tangrowth can learn Earthquake. Mm-hmm. So even your Volcanion will be at risk, Tangrowth having access to Knockoff, Leaf Storm. So it's going to be able to counter your Rotom Washes, your Slowbros. There's going to be a lot of things that now you need to prep for that Tangrowth. So you need to be prepared, even with Keldeo.
I think Assault Vest Tangrowth is going to become super popular in the tier. It's a very fun set to rock. Not only that, if you look at the OU tier overall, you don't see too many mons. You see a couple Fire mons, obviously, in the Zards and and Heatran and Volcanion, but the rest of the mons that rock any kind of fire move at all are rocking usually an HP Fire. And the truth is that Assault Vest growth just takes a hit. It can take even those. It can take those fire hits. It can take stuff, and it's going to be a monster in terms of defensive play with the Regenerator set. I mean, I think bringing in growth. I don't think that growth as a whole is going to be a mainstay in OU for forever. But for right now, it definitely fits in well until Sun and Moon comes out and we see what happens with those new mons that are going to be brought out.
Okay, so let's just go over some closing thoughts here. I'm really interested to see what's going to happen in the near future with that Regenerator Tangrowth and possibly Slowbro getting brought in OU teams, forming a nice little Regenerator core there. Nice. Do either of you two have any closing thoughts on maybe what you want to see or anything?
One mon I think that may suffer will be Quagsire that we didn't mention into the UU tier, just because there's so many ground types in the tier. You got your Rotom-fan, your Mamoswine, your Gligar, Nidoking, and Queen, and also you got the Water Absorber and Vaporeon that kind of fills the void that Quagsire can have. So I think it might be a little tough time for the Quagsire moving forward in ladder play.
Well, what I'm curious to see is at the end of the first cycle of this playthrough, I want to see just how high a usage we have on Shaymin. You know, usually in the top tier, you're seeing what for the top mons in the tier about what, like 19-20% usage. Is that correct, Vampire, something like that?
RU
for the
is
top mons.
Flygon at 34.5%, followed by Diancie at 21%.
So
Yeah,
the top mons are usually about 20%, with occasionally there's a mon that's just super overplayed. I'll bet you that that Shaymin for this next cycle is going to end up being at least 40%. I'm going to go out there and make a bold prediction and say 40%.
Well, I can tell you right now that after this, I'm going to be going and playing some RU with some Shaymins, so...
Oh gosh. So see, you're going to be bumping it yourself.
It finally got me something I'm interested in. I've been Vampire218 here, bringing you the Smogon tier changes for August 4th of 2016. If you like the video, please make sure that you sub to HouseInfinity. We'll be bringing you great content, and we will see you guys next time. Say bye, everyone.
Peace.
Bye.